Guys, it is getting warm out, and I finally seen some posts that people are ready for some cash days. There might be even one coming up this weekend. So we got to get to work on the vet back here. We're going to start with tires coming up right now on the channel. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Dorky and 40 channel. No prep stuff coming for you. And before you fast forward and click through all this stuff, you might be thinking tires. I'm not an idiot. I know what I'm doing. And I would say you're probably right. But I just am recording this after I just shot the actual tire video itself. And I was pretty amazed on how nasty the tire molds and the rim molds are these days. They weren't this bad last year when I was doing that. So definitely check your tires. I'm just gonna glue fronts in these, not rears. I got a brand new set of reactions over here that I'm waiting for the season. Hopefully they'll be coming out, but I don't want to pop the seal on them yet. But I know the reactions used to have some flash around the actual rubber itself, but these Hoosiers were loaded, gouges, scratches, cuts. You'll see here in the video. So let's get to it, guys. So the big question here, guys, is glue or beadlocks. Now I'm going to run with beadlocks on the rear this year just because glue worked out for me 99.9% of the time. But the problem is that every once in a while you would pop a bead and you wouldn't realize it. If you don't have enough time, or if you get caught up in the action talking with your friends and you don't inspect your tires and see what's going on. Sometimes even on these tires, because the glue bead gets so nasty looking, if you take a look, you know, the inside here looks pretty good, but if you look at the outside, it doesn't look too bad. But when these things get warm and dirty, they kind of fuzz up a little bit. So I've ran races where I actually had beads popped, and I wondered why my car started acting funny, and sometimes I just didn't realize it. Now, really, you know, Bob Smith's glue, this is pretty much what everybody uses, does a great job for the rears, but I'm going to run beadlocks, like I said, this year. The split 6 for right now until we see something else. There's a lot of nice aftermarket stuff out that's like custom milled, weight reduction and all that, and I'm not 100% sure if all that's necessary yet, so I'm not really going to buy any of that stuff. But if you do glue your tires, you're going to want to pre-treat and do some stuff, and I'll show you that when we do up these fronts here real quick. The other thing with these split 6 is that these are made by Assault RC, but there's a lot of different kinds of these things out right now. There's metal, there's these carbon fiber, and everything else. And if you look at your beadlock, it actually has 12 screw holes in it, where the original comes with this ring just has 6. So these supposedly do a lot better job as far as holding the wheel down. I guess we'll see how it works out, but that's what I'm going to do. You can see my wheels, I've just kind of like painted them a little bit to just kind of give it a little bit of flash and bling and everything. And got a brand new bag of Proline Reactions here, which I'm not going to put on the wheel right now just because I want to keep them as fresh as possible until racing season really heats up. Until then, I'm just going to run these reactions that are already glued and just do my testing and tuning and everything like that. So we talk about the front tires here, and pretty much the standard is going to be your Proline Hoosier on some kind of wheel. I just went ahead and went with the Pomonas. I do have these DE Racing accelerators with their Gambler wheels. Now these are the real skinny ones. Doesn't look like they really performed any better for anybody at Race Wars. They give everything a pretty nice scale look. I'm gonna, you know, glue them up and just have them to play with and see what happens. But I'll probably just go ahead and stick with the Hoosiers for now. Just that wider base, I think, just is going to help the car track a little bit straighter, and it will be able to absorb bumps, rocks, things like that just a lot easier than these tires here, which are super skinny, 1.9 inches wide. They look really cool, but I'm going to keep those in the bag too and keep them fresh. Now let's open up these Hoosiers and take a look at those since we're going to glue them up. You can see I got some Hoosiers here on the bench. 2 different wheels. I really don't know what I did to mismatch these, but I did. These are a couple sets from last year, and actually it's 2 different wheels. I just realized that one was a Hoosier and this one is a DE. I think I sold all that with my Slash, so that's pretty much what I have right now. So that's no bueno. We need these things to match up. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our tires prepped. So we're going to open up the Hoosiers here. Hoosiers come with foams. No need to do nothing with those. Just want to leave them exactly the way they are. But you do want to go through and just kind of inspect this and make sure that you don't have any extra mold, tire, stuff like that, rubber sticking out that will affect your bead. You can kind of see, yeah, you can definitely see right there how there's some flashing right there. You know, that stuff's going to kind of mess you up as far as holding things down. So you're going to want to take a really sharp blade and just get rid of that junk. And my blade's not too sharp, so it's giving me a little bit of fit. All right, got that cleaned up, and the rest of it looks okay. But you can see that, you know, these things are not, there's you know, some chunks missing in there and the mold and everything. Might be time for some new molds, or maybe quality construction is going down over there. So, you know, taking a look even at your front tires, guys, a lot of people will overlook stuff like this. I mean, look at that tire right out of the box like that. Look how nasty that is. All jagged and cut up and everything. Not much I can do about that. Just gonna have to deal with it. But that's the kind of stuff that you just don't want to deal with. So I'm gonna pop the foams out of these, and you know, you just want to get yourself a rag or whatever, and you want to get a lot of this mold release agent off of here. So I'm just gonna start pouring it on here and making a mess. This is 95 or 99% IPA, so not a big deal. And obviously you don't have to make as big of a mess as I just did, but let that just kind of soak and marinate there for a second, and we'll clean up some of the excess. And what that's going to do is just get all that mold release and stuff off there, so that way the glue will just have a better bond. And then we're also going to need to work on and treat the rims as well, so that way we get a better bond. So we'll give those tires a wipe down here in a second. So let's go ahead and open up these wheels. Hope everybody's having a great day out there today. Been doing some work, as you can see, more on that in some upcoming videos, but things started off a little crazy for me this morning. So again, just kind of inspect your bead and make sure that, like, you know, everything's good and there's no hard edges. Like, I feel a hard edge like right there, some jagged plastic sticking out. Really, it's best I just take a sanding stick like this, and I just go through and sand the entire outside of the wheel. You know, doesn't really matter. 80 grit, 160, 320, just something to kind of knock everything down and get it nice and smooth. And you should be able to feel the spots that are messed up. I can totally feel what's going on a couple of them. And then run it across the outside too, because you're going to have glue that's going to get in here. You know, no matter how nice you try to make these things look, you know, I know the scale guys cringe at us drag racers, because we just want the wires, the wires. We just want the wheels to stick. We really don't care what they look like. They're hidden underneath the body and stuff anyway. So, and again, kind of make sure you're getting the edges and stuff like that. So you're cleaning things up, and we're gonna just kind of give a little bit of a texture for the glue to set into and give it some bite. So I'm gonna get this other one done, and we'll be right back and glue these together. Okay, so now that everything is all sanded together, we're just gonna wipe all that down with this IPA and let that dry, so that way we have the best surface that we can to glue to. Just get up all the dust and everything else, and then we'll move on to the tires. And you can see the tires have pretty much just soaked up all that IPA, and I'm probably gonna have to let these things actually dry out a little bit before I glue them together. I got a little bit ahead of myself, but just give, squeeze them good, get everything nice and dry, fold them out inside out like that. Again, we're seeing extra flash that I just pulled off of there. Yeah, you want to make sure that these things are clean. This is probably the worst set of Hoosiers I think I've ever seen. Wow. Either that or I just never looked at them that close, because I really, didn't know what I was doing, being a super beginner and all. But those are pretty bad. Now you definitely want to look at your reactions too, because I know people have spoken about that. Tempted to rip that pack open, but considering these things are like gold dust right now, still not going to do that. Yeah, that one looks pretty good. So again, wipe it down. See all this leftover rubber here, I think. Big hunks here, here. All that extra flashing from the rubber that was pulled off, that didn't come off when it released from the mold. All right, so now that everything's dry, we're just gonna put the foams back inside here and make sure those are nice and centered, and just kind of, get it in there, squeeze, go around each side of the tire like this, and make sure everything is even, so that way when we glue them up, we don't get any lumps or bumps. See another piece of rubber there. That's gone. So that one's pretty good. We'll go ahead and pop this one in here. Maybe there's a right way to do this, but I just kind of fold it and stuff it in there, and it seems to work out just fine. You just want to take your time and make sure that everything is nice and centered, and flush and plush. Like you can see, I got like a bulge right there, so that's not good. We got to fix that. And you can look on the inside too and make sure that you're all even. And if you look down the tire, everything should be nice and flat. Still got a bulge right there. I don't see any flash holding it up, just needed to come down a little bit. So that one looks good, and that one's got a little bit of a bulge. We'll pull it down a little bit. Check the inside. All right, I think we're good. Now, definitely don't do what I did the first time I glued a set of these up, which is glue your nice Hoosier emblems on the inside, which you can see with the IPA bath. This one pretty much is wiped clean now compared to that one. So that kind of stinks, but no big deal. Better to make sure that everything is nice and clean. And then that way we can get these mounted up and glued right, and then they'll be ready for a little bit of prep. And Usually on the fronts, I just simple green them. I'm sure people are doing a lot crazier stuff than that, but simple green just seems to work good for me. Baby wipe and that kind of stuff. So now that these are nice and clean and everything is sanded, it just popped on there really good. So, you know, that's just kind of what you're looking for. Just make sure that that bead is set in there real good. We'll let that sit there and just kind of bake for a second. And we'll pop in this next one. First bead, the other side just locked right into place. So you want to make sure that you don't get something like that on the top there. I'm gonna get all that in there nice. You don't want to fight it. Make sure it's all good on both sides. You know, give them a couple rolls. Make sure that everything is good. And then check them again. All right, that looks good. And that looks good right there as well. Make sure you look straight down the tire and that it's even on both sides. Sometimes you can get some of that out after you glue it, but more than likely you can't. All right, here we go. Time to get messy. Old bottle of Bob Smith's here. I need to get a new bottle, and you're just gonna do one side of the tire at a time and just squirt that stuff down there and just spin the tire. Try to get equal amount on the tire and on the wheel. You can come back around if you want to and kind of clean it up. So I can already tell here that we got more on the wheel than on the tire. And this is going on the inside, so it doesn't matter what it looks like. You just want it to work, guys. You don't want to blow a bead and have to glue that day, because it just sucks, because you always have to worry about it. All right, so that one's good, and you're gonna have to just let it sit here for an hour or two before you flip them over and do the other side. So I actually put this one on backwards again because I didn't have no Hoosier writing on it. Don't spill your glue all over the place, especially this tire glue. It'll definitely make your day worse. Alright, so that's all popped in. A little notch right there. Check out on this side. That's in. That's in. That's in. Down the tire here. See a high spot right there. The more time you take on this, guys, the better off you're going to be on race day. So don't hurry up and do it. All right, that one's ready. Same thing. Just gonna start gluing here, pouring it out. Spin the tire, work the bottle cap back into what you just poured. Don't get out the tip and try to make it all pretty. Just put it all on there and lather it up good, because like I said, you don't want to be dealing with this on race day. So just do it now. All right, there we go. See all that on there? That's what I do. And I've never had any problems with the fronts. I think everybody has problems with the backs, especially with those big old burnouts that people do and stuff. The bigger your burnout, the more likely you're gonna blow a bead or a glue bead. So gonna let these go ahead and do the same thing on the opposite sides, but I don't think you guys need to stick around for that. So if you made it this far, thanks a lot. And we got more videos coming up very soon. So we'll talk to you guys later.